Is Trudeau quitting finally? Well, if the news coming out of Canada is to be believed, he's going to be quitting on Wednesday or perhaps even tomorrow. According to initial reports, and many sources have confirmed this, Trudeau is going to be quitting. And then the big question comes up: who is going to be the next interim PM? Is it going to be somebody that Trudeau is going to recommend, or is the Liberal Party going to choose who its next leader is going to be? And there's a googly headed Canada's way, I think. And if I'm proved right, then you know that you heard it first in 𝗣𝗽𝗼𝗼. So first, I'm going to show you a slide deck because I want to show you the different actors who have perhaps thrown their hats in the ring to see which one gets selected. So here we go. What happens next? When Trudeau resigns, he'll most likely submit his resignation to the Liberal Party chairman, and the party will choose his successor. Now, sometimes he might recommend a successor, and that might be whispered in the ears of all the people who are elected, or it might just be a secret ballot, or it can even be an open ballot. There are some things that the Liberal Party has exempted itself from in terms of transparency. Other parties have much more transparency in how they choose their next leader than the Liberal Party. So expect a surprise. So having said that, who are the people who might succeed Trudeau? Because I'm hearing that October 2025 elections are right around the corner. So only 8-9 months remain, and whatever changes the new prime minister will ring in, they'll have to be done sufficiently well, executed well, so that it starts having impact on the ground, and therefore Liberal Party has a good chance of coming back. I don't know. At this point of time, the Conservative Party leader, 𝗣𝗼𝗼𝗄𝗧 𝗍𝗼𝗼, is leading Trudeau by 20 points. The first thing they would like to do, the Liberal Party that is to try and cut down that lead. Maybe that is why they are trying to change the Prime Minister now. So who are the candidates? Number one, the former Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, 𝗒𝗏𝗄𝗧 𝗍𝗏𝗏. You see her picture here. She quit a few weeks ago, and I had predicted that this is going to be the beginning of the end of Trudeau. I don't know how many of you saw my monologue. I had predicted that her quitting, because Trudeau removed her as a finance minister, she resigned the whole thing. And that was the first shot across the bow, if you will. So this is one candidate, but is Trudeau looking at somebody else? Well, for that, we have to look at Mr. Dominic LeBlanc. He was the finance minister to succeed 𝗒𝗏𝗏𝗏, and it is believed that Trudeau has already informally sounded him out to step in case he resigns. And if that is the case, it will have to be seen how much of an effect Dominic LeBlanc will have on the Liberal Party's fortunes, its ability to shepherd everybody together and go along. Now, there is one big if here. Will Dominic LeBlanc be acceptable to the partners in the coalition, especially Jagmeet Singh? Or will Jagmeet Singh demand his pound of flesh? Remember one thing, Jagmeet Singh does not have the numbers today to become the Prime Minister of Canada, ever. He needs to have some jugaad happen in order to get to that point where he might be having enough votes to claim or challenge the leadership in Canada to become the Prime Minister himself. What are the things that he has at his disposal? Well, one thing is, I'll come to that one thing in just 1 second. So there are two candidates now. That's very clear, LeBlanc and Freeland, and we'll have to see which one pips whom to the post, or is there going to be another mysterious candidate that Trudeau might bring in? Anyway, the election might take place, but we will not get to know what or how the election went, who, what, how many votes. Those things are kind of hidden for the Liberal Party because it didn't sign some of the requirements that the other parties have willingly embraced. So we have to wait and see how that goes. So that is one side. What's the big enchilada in the room? That is the question. There are about 427,000 enrolled students in Canada from foreign countries, and they bring in a total of $15.42 billion. I'm assuming $36,000 average fees per year. That could be more, that could be less. So you get the ballpark, a big number, right? Now, what happens is, right now, the non-permanent residents of Canada are becoming a significant minority. Why do I say that? Well, first thing is that the non-permanent residents, I'm going to call them NPRs. The NPRs cannot vote. You have to be a Canadian citizen and you have to be 18 years of age in order to vote in Canadian elections. Well, they could do a democratic jugaad here also and try and, not insist on ID and things of that nature. But I think they could actually go for the gold, in the sense they could say that we are going to give voting rights to all the NPRs as long as they are legal in Canada. Nothing stopping them from doing that. Of course, the Conservative Party will kick and scream, but do they have the numbers to stop this? Because Jagmeet Singh is solidly going to be for that. Why do I say that? Now, in 2015, 2.1% of Canada was NPRs, non-permanent residents. It went up to 3.4% in September 2021, and 3 years since then, September 2024, it's now 7.3% of Canada. 3 million non-permanent residents. If you look at what is happening now, as things stand today, 1 in 3 Canadians is foreign born, a significant increase from 24% when Trudeau took office in 2015. In 10 years, a lot has changed in Canada. Now, Jagmeet Singh might be really licking his lips, thinking, aha, if 1 in 3 voters in Canada are probably of Indian origin or South Asian, let's just expand the pie a little bit, then he might fancy his chances. Now you understand why he's bending over backwards to be, nice to some people and ignoring others. Of course, he will make some placatory noises for the Hindu Canadians, like going to the temples, or I am one of you, or, dancing Bhangra, do whatever. I mean, 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪 kind of moves, who knows? But this is something that he might try, but then he might not be the prime minister. They might bring in a new person and say, oh, that new person will say, oh, we stand for secularism, for everybody's freedom of religion, blah, 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 to try and soften the edge. So, but all that stuff on one side, will Canada implement a law which allows its non-permanent residents to vote? If that happens, then it is game over, in my opinion, for the Conservatives. I think the Conservatives will fight tooth and nail to make sure that that does not happen. But more importantly, the Canadian citizen born in Canada should really get worried. 1 in 3 is no longer a Canadian-born person in Canada. That should really ring alarm bells. You look at the rate of NPRs. The Trudeau era ushered in a huge spike. And I think Trudeau intends to bring back the numbers, but will that be too little, too late? That's a question in front of everyone. Next few days will decide who's going to be the new leader and perhaps a new interim Prime Minister of Canada. And then, of course, it's election time. A lot of things are going to happen between now and October. Stay tuned. We'll bring you all the news before it breaks. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.